Well, thank you. Good morning. I'm a partner in the law firm Miller Nash, and we're proud to have sponsored, I should have probably checked this out before I came here, but I think 5 or 6 conferences. Either that or I'm doubling it. Regardless, it's been a number of years, and we've been very pleased to participate in this conference. It is extraordinary, I think. Unique for a community of this size, and of course we're very pleased to hear that the conference sold out, as I'm sure all of you are, because every year it seems like it gets bigger and better, and more money is brought into companies here locally that help build the regional economy, help innovate new technologies for our life, and all inspire us all to aim for the stars. At Miller Nash, we understand what it takes to grow a company. I've been involved in hundreds of companies, mostly startups, but also mature technology companies, probably a couple $1 billion of transactions now. And it makes me shudder to say this, but it does take a village to grow a company. All right, that was a joke. It makes me shudder to say this. It takes a village to grow a company. And what I mean by that is it takes a lot of talent, it takes a lot of skill. You have to bring the right people together and the right skills mix to grow a company and really be successful. And we all know it. Where Miller Nash comes in is we have a broad and deep set of legal practices that can help you, come alongside you, protect you when you're under attack. Miller Nash this year merged with Graham & Dunn in Seattle, so that brings us to over 160 attorneys in Portland, Seattle, and of course here in Bend, as well as Vancouver. Our practice areas that particularly benefited from that were banking, finance, construction, as well as fermentation. So we now have a brewery specialized practice, which I know doesn't help the startups here today, but it does help in Bend. So our practices, our legal skills, our attorneys help support investors as well as startup companies and mature companies. And I think the goal, of course, of a large firm like Miller Nash is it's kind of a one-stop shop. So if you need intellectual property, if you need benefits, compensation, employment, if you need general business advice, or God forbid, you get involved in litigation, then we've got you covered. And finally, this year, for the first time, I brought a prop. Somebody told me repeatedly, you need a prop. And I just want you to know, we have the best coffee mugs of any law firm in the world. Look at this thing. So if you are a Miller Nash client, you can get this patented coffee mug. Time is always short in these conferences, and I know they're always run on a tight schedule. In fact, every year I wonder if I talk too long, if Aaron from EDCO is going to turn my mic off. And as with every past year, I've decided not to test it. So I'll move along, and what that means is I don't have enough time to describe fully our panelists today because they have an extensive background. But I will point you to your binder, and if you look in the speaker's bio tab, you can learn more about them. But I'll give a brief description, and I don't know, are they going to come down as I announce them? I think that's probably the case. So I was going to say hold your applause till the end, but I'll just introduce each of them, and hopefully they're here and they'll come up. So we are fortunate to have, as we do every year, an outstanding panel of experts. Eric Rosenfeld is today's moderator, a founding partner of the Oregon Angel Fund. He's led over 40 equity investments in startups since 2004. The fund, the Oregon Angel Fund, invests over $6 million annually in the most promising startups in Oregon and Southwest Washington. So please welcome Eric. Eric is our moderator. Our first panelist is John Bradshaw. He's the managing director of Focused Investment Banking and has over 30 years experience in sales, marketing, manufacturing, finance, and systems engineering with corporations specializing in technology-driven products and services. Please welcome John. Many of you already know Jim Coonan, the Executive Director of the Regional Accelerator and Innovation Network, or RAIN program, and Chair of Peak Audio Group. He served as a board member and Chair of OEN and has a long history both as an entrepreneur and an investor. Welcome, Jim. We have next panelist is Scott Sandler, who manages the day-to-day activities of the Oregon Angel Fund, including generating deal flow, evaluating business plans, and managing the due diligence process. Please welcome Scott. And finally, Corey Schmidt is a principal investment partner with Seven Peaks Ventures and is Director of Management and Operating Engagements with the Cascadian Group. Corey also volunteers as a mentor in the Bend-based Accelerator Founders Pad. Please welcome Corey. Thank you all. Thank you for being here, and good luck to the 6 concept stage companies.
Now I'd like to introduce Mike Winshank from Ben Broadband, who will be introducing the concept stage companies and talking a little bit about Ben Broadband's commitment to the concept stage. Mike?
Thank you, Gator. I think we've learned 3 things this morning already. The first is you can patent a coffee cup. I didn't know that. The second is the technology works. And the third is half of you, this is your first Ben Venture Conference, so welcome. Just a quick show of hands, if you don't mind, or applause. Let's use applause. How many of you are from out of town, not from Bend? Well, terrific, and welcome. Besides all the great food, we've got lots of good wine, we've got lots of beer, and I'm sure we'll do more Chamber of Commerce discussion later. But we're very proud to have this event. What we're going to see on stage here at the Tower is a demonstration of a very basic concept that's been around longer than Ben Broadband has been providing internet service. It's the concept of pitching a money-making idea to people who decide how to spend money. What a better way to spend a Friday morning. And Ben Broadband is proud to be a sponsor of what you're all about to participate in. What we'll be doing is watching 6 passionate founders. There's no office politics on this stage today. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into their original ideas, and those ideas are turning into real jobs and will be turning into real jobs. What better investment could a company like Ben Broadband make than to provide $10,000 in cash to stimulate a concept stage winner? Ben Broadband's been a longtime supporter for over 4 years of the Ben Venture Conference. Many of our clients start as a startup. They use our internet and phone services, advertising on our broadcasting and cable stations to build a business, to grow a business. And in turn, those founders become community leaders, supporting so many of the nonprofits that we have here in town, as well as the nonprofits within the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. And they turn into guides to help other startups as well. It's a circle of support that has been around longer than the internet. And it's one of the reasons we are all here today, and it's one of the reasons Ben Broadband is such a proud sponsor of this event. We're local dogs, it's what we do. Now to a favorite of the Ben Venture Conference, our version of the Shark Tank, the concept stage competition. To review again, 6 competitors, 3 minutes each, one $10,000 cash prize. That's a great way to start a Friday morning. It's the Ben Broadband Concept Stage Competition. Here's how it works. Concept stage competitors will come up one at a time in alphabetical order. After each 3 minutes, there's 3 minutes is the time limit, 3-minute pitch. The concept panel here will ask questions of the presenter, and then we'll open it up to all of you. You will also be able to ask questions from the presenter. When all 6 competitors are done, then we all vote. And this year, as Roger demonstrated, we'll be using the electronic keypad thanks to Columbia Bank, and the technology works. You each get 1 vote for 1 startup you think deserves the $10,000, and we'll announce the winner later this afternoon. To our competitors, just getting to this point signifies you've done something special, so good luck, and let's let the concept stage competition begin.
You'll get on in a second. So, yesterday we had the Unconference, and some of you aren't familiar with the Unconference. It's kind of our pre-event for these concept stage companies. A whole bunch of companies go in there and fight for the opportunity to be our wild card concept stage company this morning. So the first one we start off with is the winner of the Unconference wild card, and I'm very happy to introduce Molly Schofield from Hansel. Molly's being wired up, so while we're waiting, any comments from the crowd about how things are going this morning? Q&A already? Any comments from the panel? Having a good time, Jim? Yeah? Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'd like to thank our sponsors again. Especially the ones I forgot to thank in the very beginning, the slide I slipped over. We really love you guys. I love you, man. So, okay, we ready, Molly?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Good luck.
So. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. My name is Molly Schofield, and I'm pitching on behalf of my company, The Hansel. My partner, Dave Mullen, is in the wings. Craigslist is broken. Classifieds are broken. Many of us already know this, and millions of users are flocking to Facebook groups to buy and sell among like-minded folks. And this system is also not working, despite the growth. The Hansel is forging a new paradigm in peer-to-peer marketplaces, one where people with like-minded interests can meet, connect, and have powerful discovery tools, as well as surfacing content that's available and buried inside Facebook. We're thinking curation, community, and discovery. Ours is a mobile web application that allows individuals to curate their own content feed, join communities that are personally relevant to them, and allow them to transact inside those communities. We're surfacing content that is currently buried inside Facebook. Has anybody tried to search for anything on Facebook? It's impossible. We're also allowing busy buyers to set it and forget it and set a saved search or lookout that will allow them to come back later when we found something that meets their needs. In terms of market sizing, we're using Facebook groups as a measuring stick. Right now, there are 15 million people who have joined groups today with buy, sell, trade, or swap in the name, in English only, and 50,000 in Central Oregon alone. These groups are growing at a rate of 10% month over month. Our initial plan of attack in the first year is really to prove our product market fit. We want to build a critical mass of users. From there, we can monetize. Our primary revenue will be through subscription, and we'll be exploring some others in testing in our first year. One of them, which I'm very close to, is brand partnerships. I've spent the last 15 years in marketing, the majority of that consulting some of the biggest brands in the world on how to leverage communities like these and creating engaging digital experiences for brands. My co-founder, Dave Mullen, has nearly 30 years experience in tech and himself started a venture capital founded a company several years ago and successfully raised $45 million in venture capital. We have a powerful board of advisors, including Tracy French, who has 4 million followers on Pinterest and is eager to bring this to her audience, and Bill Gray, the former CEO of Ogilvy and Mather. People want personalized experiences, and we know that we can deliver that with the Hansel through curation, powerful discovery tools, and curated and communities. Thanks very much. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Great job, Molly.
Thank you.
Just a reminder to the concept stage companies, if you guys could start lining up over here so we can get you wired up, so we don't have to spend an extra couple of minutes wiring you up in between. That would be great. So we're going to get going now. Eric, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Gator. Thank you, Molly. Why don't we start, if you want to give us maybe a quick use case, how you see a typical use of the product.
Sure. So right now, what's happening on Facebook is you have people who are joining these groups and selling used clothes, even a car, a stroller that they're looking for. So with the Hansel, they're able to post through the Hansel, publish to those Facebook groups, and manage their posting. Many users are cross-posting to multiple Facebook groups, and it's creating a problem for the admins of these groups. They're crumbling under their own success. So they'll be able to administer their content, delete when sold, and update the price and things of that nature.
Great. Okay, illustrious panel. Where do you want to begin? Scott, start us off.
One of my first questions for any business like this.
Hey, Scott, could you use the mic with Superdia? Thank
Sorry.
you, appreciate it.
Yeah, forgot about that part. Is that better? One of my first questions for businesses that need to build an audience is, what's your plan of attack for drawing that audience in?
Yeah, well, these problems are so troublesome on Facebook. We've actually recruited on our advisory board some of the Facebook admins themselves who are eager to see this solved. Across those groups where we saw the 15 million numbers, they're all having the same problems. So our plan of attack is to solve it inside one here in Central Oregon and then share that story, probably leveraging our social media influencers and leveraging these admins themselves. And then over time, direct marketing, digital advertising will expand from there. I actually didn't get to this, but we have a plan of attack for customer acquisition long term.
What stage are you at, Molly, in developing this?
What stage? Well, we just soft launched in beta this week. So you can go to thehansel.com and check it out. It's still a tiny bit buggy, and we're planning on announcing our public beta next week where we'll be fully functional and debugged.
Great. Yeah, other comments? Corey.
Yeah, hi, good job, Molly.
Thank you.
You mentioned that it will be primarily a subscription revenue model.
Yeah, that's what we're starting with.
And articulate who are you going after? What is the basis of the subscription? Monthly, annual? Can you kind of map that out?
Probably annual. We're going to be testing this. Our Facebook admins are telling us people are going to pay a lot more than we think the market will actually bear over time. So we're planning on letting people buy for free, come to the website, search, and transact on a buyer level for free. But if you want to post, you're going to be paying probably somewhere at $3 a year is what we're thinking about, along the lines of what WhatsApp did, and testing it.
Let's just open up for our attendees today. How many people have done a transaction on Facebook already? Bought, sold, traded? Okay, so maybe about 10%. And how many would use this to see that could be done easier? There's opportunity to make it easier and more intuitive. Great. And any questions for Molly in terms of her business or strategy? Yeah, please.
Yeah, that's a good question. We're actually just integrating with Facebook. So really what we're going to do is allow users who are in these Facebook groups to operate via the Hansel, which will give them the features that they're looking for, and publish their content to the Facebook groups where they already belong. So in a sense, they get the best of both worlds. But we believe over time that they will become so accustomed to the full set of features that we offer, and through some of our other acquisition strategies that will expand our core base.
Yeah, one more up here, please.
Are you adding admin tools for the people like you talked about?
Yeah, we are actually. So the Facebook admins that have joined our board are helping us define those tools right now. We're setting the requirements. So we already know from looking at these groups, it's going to be things like mass post deletion, when they have a bunch of old content, flagging users and inappropriate behavior, things like that. And one of the admins actually just posted yesterday to her own Facebook group to see what people would like. So we'll be feeling things out and launching those admin tools in the next month.
I've got some friends on Facebook that keep posting things on my wall about their kids and things. Could I trade my friends on Facebook using this?
Yes, I'm trying to get rid of Dave. He's just here for looks. No
Okay.
people.
Great. I saw another hand down here. Yes, please.
No, we're not. And the reason that we're not is because today people are used to handling that on their own. So we just don't want to get involved. In time, we feel it's obvious to introduce some sort of payment method as a courtesy, as people can use it or not. But we don't want to depend on it for revenue as a percent of transaction because people will just circumvent that. So we'll add that in time.
Yeah, John?
Thank you so much. How many users do you think you might have in a year or a couple of years? How big a market are you?
Well, so there are 50,000 users belonging to these groups in Central Oregon. We know that there's some duplication there, obviously people belonging to multiple groups. But we feel, using a very conservative estimate, if we had 5 or 10% of that group where we're really in the community and getting the word out, but even if you extrapolate over the next year, 18 months, if we have 5% of the 15 million users, the numbers can go pretty quickly. So we're building to scale fast, knowing that that's a possibility and wanting to be prepared.
Great, good. Yes, please.
Right, I'm glad you asked.
The question's about competition
Yeah.
and how you're going to get
So
to market
there
quickly or
are,
better.
there are a lot of applications out there that are just making Craigslist look nice, where you have an app and you can take a picture from your phone and it's pretty and that kind of thing. There's one that's actually doing something similar vis-a-vis the communities. No one is integrating with these Facebook groups, no one. So we really want to get out there quickly to be the first to market to solve these problems on these groups. I mean, they post daily the same problems. Please stop posting. We need to delete everything. Don't do this. Put this in this photo album. I mean, it's silly. So we feel let's solve that low-hanging problem, and then the rest will come.
Great. Any other comments, questions, suggestions? Yeah, Jim.
I was just curious about the buying decision. So I know in our household, it's like, oh, get rid of that baby stroller. So it tends to be a more spontaneous. And it sounds like you're targeting more of an annual fee. It'll be interesting to see as you get into it, how people actually buy. Have you given that some thought? I'm sure you have.
We have given that some thought. So we've classified 2 shopper segments, the passive buyer and the active buyer. So the active buyer being somebody who says, I need a bike for my 10-year-old, I want to spend this much money, and this is my mission. And then the passive buyer, and there are a lot of them in these Facebook groups, who just troll. And through our curated content and being able to deliver to somebody, if you're a skier, we'll show you skis. If you don't have kids, we don't want to show you toddler beds. So being able to segment that way over time, we think will entice both and allow people to see more of that content.
Great. Good. Any other comments? Yes, please.
What's our next what? Key milestone. So next week is the big one for us with the public beta, and then beyond that we have a series of tools we want built out. The admin tools being the primary one, and then beginning to go into larger markets. We're actually shooting a shareable commercial video this week, so it's going to be around marketing and the admin tools.
Great. And you see this as the kind of business that hypothetically could use some capital for growth, and if so, what would you use funding for?
Well, there are 2 things. So if we win the concept prize today, we're going to lock down some office space so the team can stop working out of their kitchens. So that's the first order of business, get everybody in the same room every day. And then beyond that, it's ongoing development. This is a very dynamic industry, and I know from working in digital marketing for a long time that if you sit still, you die. So we need to continuously develop. We have a great team, very innovative, and we want to constantly test.
Wonderful. Great. Yeah, yes, please.
Well, so we watched that carefully, and what it seems, they're not calling me and telling me, but what it seems to us is that their plays are really more horizontal in nature. They're making broad acquisitions, not really vertical specific. We think if we play our cards right, we could be primed for acquisition or certainly partnership. So it's important to us to go in with a very friendly Facebook and building out the Facebook application itself, which would be embedded in Facebook. So we haven't seen them make a move like this yet. It's always a possibility, but we hope to do it better and faster, and then maybe they'll buy us.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thanks for the really clear presentation and your obvious grasp and thoughtful approach to this business. I noticed on your customer acquisition chart you mentioned schools, and I don't think you talked about that angle.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but one of the strategies that we have is to be able to leverage this platform to support community fundraising. So we've actually preloaded our database with all of the schools in the country. We'll be doing some IP detection to allow people to associate with a community that's local or they have kids the same age. So, I don't have time to go into too much detail, but we'd love to share more about that.
All right, we have time for maybe one last quick question. We're out.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Molly.
Thank you very much.
Great job, Molly. Great job, Molly. Is it safe? Okay. So you can see that the Unconference produces great companies on its own. Last year, the Unconference winner actually won the concept stage, High Desert Makers. So we were very impressed that Molly's up here. I mean, from yesterday to today, all of a sudden, she's vaulted from an idea at an Unconference to presenting to you. So it's very great. So next up, we have Bird Dog BioVentures with Dr. Patrick Young.
Good morning. All right, it's showtime. Here we go. I'm Dr. Patrick Young. I'm an equine veterinarian. I recently started a biotechnology company that we provide solutions for orphan opportunities in veterinary medicine for underserved diseases or areas that are neglected by big pharma. So everybody kind of asks me, wants to know how I got to this point in my career. And the best way that I can explain it is that I made a bucket list. And then I decided to replace the B with the letter F in the word bucket, and that's why I'm here. Those of you who didn't get it, you will. In 2011, I started seeing a large incidence of a disease called pigeon fever. And that disease is a very debilitating, painful disease in horses that creates large abscesses in their chest. Doesn't have anything to do with the pigeon, they just look like a pigeon breast. There was no current vaccine out, so I developed one. Since then, I subsequently licensed that product to Colorado Serum, and then we are in pursuit of a USDA conditional license, which should take no longer than 18 to 24 months. And that'll be about 3 to 5 times faster than our human counterparts. So I keep saying we, I got a frog in my pocket again, y'all. So, but what we want to do is point and retrieve and repeat. So I find a solution, I validate it, and then I license it. So that brings us to our next project, which is a horse Gatorade, a recovery drink for horses. There's nothing else out there like that. And it's immediately post exercise to allow horses to be able to compete on that same stage or same level the very next day. Just extrapolating human medicine into equine exercise physiology, that's the last thing a horse gets is any kind of nutrition post-exercise. They get walked, cooled out, and then hung in their stall. So hopefully that will fund our trip to the Pacific Northwest, where we're going after a disease called salmon poisoning. It's a disease that dogs get by eating raw salmon on the riverbanks. And it's often fatal, and it's very debilitating. Very, very fortunate to be working with some strategic partners. On this particular one, we're working with Ben Research, and look forward to working with those guys. Colorado Serum, Diamond Heska, MG Biologics, and Metabolic Maintenance there in Sisters are some of our other strategic partners. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks. Thank you, Pat.
Just a quick announcement. Sure. We should have microphones for the audience, but there's a technical glitch this morning. We will have the microphones this afternoon for the launch stage companies. But for now, if you could repeat the question from the audience, and I'll also be out there. Maybe if I can hear it, I'll say it too.
Will do. John, do you want to start us off? Patrick, thank you for your enjoyable presentation.
Right.
How do you know, as you're starting to develop some of these drugs, that it's already not in the pipeline of other companies in this animal husbandry arena?
Well, actually, I know that there are some that are in the pipeline. You know, one thing I think that, and that was one of the approaches I took initially with the pigeon fever. I talked to some of the larger companies and asked them, you know, kind of, hey guys, would y'all produce a vaccine for us? We're dying out here. We need some, you know, help. And a lot of those companies, they didn't want to play in that market, that little sweet spot you know, because they didn't want to sink their R&D into an area that may only gross them $5 million annually. But I do know that there are some companies that are working on it. Fortunately, in the animal side of things, you can apply for a conditional license, and you can all apply at the same time. 5, 10 companies could have the same conditional license. It's not until somebody goes through and gets a full approval that you have to go that route. Does that get to the point?
In other words, you may be trying to develop a drug, there might be somebody else trying to develop at the same time.
Correct. Yeah, I have no way of knowing other than putting out feelers. You know, fortunately, the veterinary medicine and pharmaceutical industry is a pretty small community, especially doing the things that I want to do. We're, like I said, I'm in a nice little niche area that they don't really want to play, but I do know that they're working on some pigeon fever vaccines. Fortunately, I'm with a partner that we can move really fast. When I call, I talk to him, and directly, there's not a lot of email shooting back and forth, you know, call me 5 days from now, you know. So that's one thing that I really like about working with Colorado Serum and some of these other kind of mid-sized companies is that we have the ability to get things done quickly and expedite it.
Super. Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, Jim.
Hey, thanks, Patrick. First, a comment and then a question. First off, this comment question, are you familiar with Otrati?
What is it?
Otrati. So it's the Oregon Signature Research Center that's focused on biotech. And in fact, I think I saw Jennifer Fox.
You
there
know
she
what?
is, right there. So
I met her last night.
Okay.
You bet.
Bingo. Conference is working. So
Right.
good resource for you.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to
Okay,
that.
so the key assumption here is that there are customers, in your case, pharma companies, I'm assuming, that will appreciate these small niches, the
Correct.
$5 to $10 million. Can you talk a little bit about that? Obviously, you must have some relationships already developed, and can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Right. So, yes, sir, I do have relationships with them, and I kind of got those relationships just by beating on their door saying, hey, let me in, you know. And you know, it's been a wonderful experience, but as far as the niche market goes, those, like I said, those companies, they really don't really want to sink their R&D into that. And once I kind of prove the point, then I, you know, throw out a fly and get a bite. And that's kind of where I am right now with the pigeon fever product. I'm partnered with Colorado Serum on that particular product, and I got a call from one of the big pharma companies yesterday, as a matter of fact. And they want to set up a meeting, and they're kind of wanting to license it from us together. So
Right. So the thought is that even though they're not willing to invest their own R&D, that they'd be willing to actually introduce in the market if it's already been developed for them.
yes, sir. So, and that's what that's my whole business plan is for me to do all the bird dogging, just kind of keep it as lean as possible, prove the concept, do, you know, some minimal safety and efficacy trials, and then say, hi guys, here you go. You know, this has the potential.
I would think that most veterinary medical products innovations are developed at research universities that have veterinary schools. And are you affiliated with any? Or is that an advantage, disadvantage, the way you're approaching this?
No, sir, I'm not affiliated with any. I'm a proud graduate of Mississippi State and Texas A&M. Go Bulldogs. And I haven't been, and I'm not doing anything. This is not rocket surgery. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm using existing technology and applying it to a smaller niche, overlooked market that those guys, you know,
Sure, that's
don't want to
not being
address.
addressed currently.
Right.
That makes sense. Great. Other comments? Diane, please.
That'll make a pretty good dent in the horse Gatorade, basically. And my thought on that is, and the reason I'm going with that one next, is simply because that product, I don't have to go through any USDA approval. That's automatic, kind of instantaneous revenue on that particular product. And that $10,000 will get me cranking pretty good and hopefully allow me to catapult to the salmon poisoning vaccine. So that's the along the lines that I'm thinking.
Yeah, please. So
Both.
the question is, who's doing the science behind the innovations,
Right,
you or
right.
your partners?
It's a collaboration between me and whoever I partner with. You know, and I'll leave the science up to the scientist. I'm pretty much the clinical practitioner that, you know, has the idea, the solution, and then we apply it in the best way that we can.
Corey?
Patrick, I think your first market, pigeon fever, is about a $5 to $10 million commercial opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Initially, it was $5 million, but here recently, the AVMA has come out with a study, and that since 2011, that particular market has quadrupled, according to the American Veterinary Medical Association.
And when you look at the Gatorade market, the horse Gatorade and salmon fever, how big do you see each of those opportunities?
In that same range.
For both? Okay.
Well, you know, honestly, I think that I'm going to stay with 5 on the salmon poisoning.
Okay.
And as far as the recovery drink now, you know, it's tough to get a patent on that. Usually that's what I want to do is get a provisional patent. All somebody has to do is change one ingredient and they, you know. But so I see that as being substantially higher.
Okay.
I really do, because that's a consumable product that they're going to reuse daily.
Right.
And, you know, especially at competitions.
Okay, super. Scott?
Patrick, thanks a lot. I love your style. And
Thank you.
I love your tenacity in going after this. Can you talk a bit about the economics? In other words, how do the splits work in these kinds of deals?
I'm sorry.
How does the money flow through a deal like this? In other words, when
Okay.
you partner with Serum and then
Right.
license.
Okay, so the way that I partnered with Colorado Serum was an upfront payment and then 6% royalties once we get on the other end of things. And that was all negotiated by me, and I did, you know, kind of did all that on my own. And I realized that I left some money on the table, but, you know, I just kind of wanted to get through that first one and get it going, because I realized that time was of the essence. We had to get rolling so that we could get ahead of these other guys.
Have you considered sponsoring the Kentucky Derby, and at the end of the race you dump some horse Gatorade on the
There
winner?
you go. That sounds like fun anyway.
Yeah, okay.
You bet.
One last question. Yes, please.
So
The question is, where is he in the development of the pigeon fever pharmaceutical?
Right.
in the stage of
Okay,
development.
so we've gotten to the point to where it's in horses. We've got it in horses. We're actually working with which adjuvants is going to be the best, which carrier for the vaccines, going to create the best immune response and be the safest at the same time. So that's where we are. We are coordinating. We have to go through some pretty significant safety trials after that. So that's kind of where we're working on the logistics behind the safety trials, because we have to have 3 different farms or 3 different areas, you know, with substantial number of horses.
All right. I think we're running out of time. It's very exciting. It may not be rocket surgery, but it's very exciting what you're doing, Patrick. So thank you.
Thank
Big hand
you.
for Patrick.
Good job. Being a Georgia boy, I do love a sweet Southern accent. It just takes me home right away. Good job. Even if you are from Mississippi. Oh, Texas. That's okay. I'm not going to pick any fights with Texas people in here. So up next, we have Karen Rob Little.
Test, test. Can you hear me? Wonderful. So good morning. My name's Rob Little. I'm the founder and CEO of Cairn, a Bend-based startup changing the way that you find and purchase outdoor products. We believe that adventure is curiosity. It's the surprise that nature delivers when you turn the next corner on a trail or you clear the next rapid in a river. We translate that excitement into a box of monthly inspiration. Our first product is a $25 monthly subscription service, comprised of product for you to enjoy from several categories: gear, apparel, food and energy, and skincare products. During the sign-up process, you fill out an online profile, which, as we grow, we can use to customize the content of the boxes. Additionally, we incentivize you to review the content that you receive. In return, we reward you with free boxes. For the brands we work with, there are two significant benefits to our model when compared to a traditional retail model. First, we put product immediately in the hands of end users, not on a shelf waiting to be purchased. Second, we collect data in the form of demographics and product reviews, which we can correlate and give back to the brands, giving them a critical analysis of the marketplace. The subscription model is not new, but we are the first to apply it to the outdoor industry as a whole. It was started here in Oregon almost 80 years ago by Harry and David when they introduced their Fruit of the Month Club. In the past several years, it's gone through resurgence as it's been applied to several different categories, including cosmetics and dog products. Companies like Birchbox and BarkBox have shown us that you can achieve hundreds of thousands of subscribers and valuations in excess of $500 million. Additionally, when you hit critical mass in your industry, not only can you get the content that goes inside your box for free, but the brands will pay you to put it in there because of the data and the exposure that you provide. We went live in March of this year and have shipped over 1,500 boxes to date as we've validated the business model. It's now time for us to invest in our growth, as all of our growth to date has been organic with no paid advertising. Consequently, if we were to win this prize, all of the money would go towards subscriber acquisition. My background is in engineering and business, but growing up here in Oregon, I've always had a love for the outdoors. While earning my MBA at the Wharton Business School, I studied the disruption taking place in the retail world and wanted to bring some of those ideas to the outdoor industry. I've surrounded myself with a group of mentors, including most recently being admitted to the inaugural class of the Bend Outdoor Works Incubator. Our name, Cairn, is the name for a rock stack, something you've all seen in nature, at a fork in a trail or the top of a mountain. Cairns are used as guideposts, an indication that you're on the right path. As you prepare for your next adventure, let us be your Cairn.
Super. Thanks, Rob. Nice overview.
Thank you. I'm just going to set a box on the table for you all to see. We go through
Starting
Q&A.
to butter up the panel already. Let's just suspend the questions and dig right in. We've got Mesquitino, right? Okay, good.
So you're seeing our very first box produced in March
Great.
of this year.
No handcrafted artisan soap. That's kind of refreshing. Usually these things come with that handcrafted, smelly artisan soap.
Not our boxes.
Okay, great.
So.
Corey, you want to start us off?
Rob, great job. You tell a story extremely well in 3 minutes, and congrats on the traction.
Thank you.
Question I have, so the subscriptions are interesting from a revenue model, and clearly you're already getting folks to sign up, but it sounds like the data play, the market data that you're gathering and eventually filling these boxes for free may really be the bigger scalable business. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So as excited as I am to produce boxes of outdoor gear every month, I wouldn't have launched this business had it not been for the data component. I think that that's what transitions this from a fun business to a beautiful business long term. What do I mean by that? So as we collect data, both in the form of demographics and product reviews, we can go back to the brands and we can tell them exactly where they're doing well in the marketplace and where they may not be doing as well, and they may want to refocus their marketing efforts. So this becomes an arm of a marketing brand. If they want to test new products, they want to release new products, or if they want to see how current products are doing in the marketplace. They don't currently have an avenue like this to get feedback without running the entire operation themselves, finding the individuals to test the product. I think long term there are avenues to actually monetize that data stream. A lot of those are concept, right now because none of the brands have gotten to the point where they've been able to execute on it beyond just getting free content for the boxes.
And to create awareness for Cairn, how do you want to go to market? What's the most effective way to help get people aware of this opportunity?
Absolutely. So I mentioned that we would invest the $10,000 in subscriber acquisition as we're focused on growth as our next step. So there's really 3 areas for that. The first is working with influencers in the industry. By that, there's 2 categories, both athletes and bloggers. So people who have followers in areas of the outdoor marketplace where we believe that we fit well. We'll put product in their hands for them to test and talk about. Also, we'll give them product to give away through their own networks. The second area is in digital marketing strategies. So online targeted advertising. Things like lookalike campaigns within Facebook work incredibly well for things like this, where we can upload our targeted demographic segment, which we already know because individuals are giving us that information when they sign up, and we can advertise to similar demographics. And the third area is events. So for us to go and to put our product in an environment where our subscribers are interacting in their densest, be it outdoor adventure races or be it outdoor concerts where people are camping, and have a presence in those events for people to see our product.
Sounds good. Scott?
Yeah, great job, thanks. I love this. But I wonder if, could you talk a little bit about how the size of the box might limit your market potential?
Absolutely. So we've tested with that in our first few months, and we've identified 2 box sizes that really fit most products in our range. So as an idea, we work with products that retail for $30 and under. The collective value of all of the product inside of the box ranges between $35 and $40. And when you look at product that fits into that price range, it ends up being on the smaller end of the scale. Consequently, with 2 different box sizes, I would say we can capture 95% of the product. If you were to walk through REI or Cabela's, that falls into that price category. Longer term, we're interested in moving upstream in the marketplace and looking at higher end products, a higher end box that will probably occur less frequently. And for that, we need to rethink our box size. But for now, this and our other box size work quite well.
So when I look at the box and the product in it and think about the labor to put together boxes, especially if you're going to customize boxes
Absolutely.
and shipping it, that looks pretty expensive. How do you make money at 25 bucks?
Certainly, certainly. So first off, on the logistics of packaging and shipping, it actually works quite easily. It takes about 2 minutes a box when we time the entire operation of packing boxes and break it down to how many boxes we're doing. As we grow, we can transition that to working with agencies like Abilitry here in town or temp workers, bringing them in for a couple of days a week to pack the boxes. As we get even larger, there are significant operations around the United States now that have popped up to manage the volume that Birchbox and BarkBox is putting out every month. And additionally, the economies of scale that come with that in terms of shipping is pretty impressive. In fact, some of the novelty around how people are changing the price of shipping when you're shipping 500,000 of the same product on the same day is really intriguing. But back to your specific question about how do we make money or what is the revenue like in terms of this box. Right now, the packaging that's incorporated there, this is completely customized packaging, and you'll all see one of these boxes later this afternoon. This is actually cheaper than us buying off-the-shelf product. We spend just over $1.50 on packaging, and our average cost for shipping depends on the weight of the box. The lightest category that we get into, we pay just under $3.50 for shipping. The heaviest category we get into, which will cover boxes between 1 pound and 20 pounds, costs us an average $5 for shipping. So it ends up not being a significant portion of the revenue stream, and there's huge opportunities for economies of scale as we grow.
Thank you.
Great. Let's take an audience question. Diane, please.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, how about a virtual box? Could you do that?
That's a really intriguing option or idea. I would say the way that we would get to a virtual box is when we're working with product that can't go inside this box. So for example, Yakima. We've talked to Yakima. They'd love to be in our box. First of all, the price point and the size of their product doesn't really fit. In the short run, what we've talked to them about doing is offering a coupon inside of our box. The last thing we want to do is clutter the experience. We don't want you to open the box and to feel like you're getting paper. What we're discussing doing is putting a custom branded Cairn envelope at the very bottom of the box. inside that box would be your coupons for the month. And so it would be an opportunity for or for brands that don't fit inside of our box to still reach our target market. From that perspective over time, when it comes to coupons or discounts, or maybe even travel or opportunity to attend events, we could certainly go virtual. But I think an emphasis of our product is the tangible experience of opening the box and being invited to go spend more time outdoors or reminisce on your last trip.
Okay. Yes, please.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Would there ever be a circumstance where you're having to deal with returns?
So the question's about returns. How would you deal with returns?
Certainly. So with our current model, $25 price point, $35 to $40 in product inside the box, we've stated in our terms and conditions that we don't do returns. We encourage you to regift. A lot of outdoor enthusiasts surround themselves with other outdoor enthusiasts who also enjoy product. So if there's a product inside that isn't your favorite, you likely know someone around you that would enjoy it. When it comes to launching higher-end boxes, returns will be a really important consideration for us. In fact, something that Stitch Fix and the Trunk Club in the clothing industry do is they'll send you 4 to 5 products every month that average $65 per unit. If you keep at least one of them, you don't pay any curation or shipping charges. The box comes with a return envelope. You put everything you don't want back in the box and you send it back. If you return everything in the box, you don't keep anything, then you have a flat fee, $15 to $20 for the experience. If we were to move upstream, we would look at models like that, but under this, no returns.
Great. Other questions? In the black and the red and vest.
Can you describe the subscriber feedback process? So if I get a box, how am I actually getting feedback?
Some questions about subscriber feedback process.
Absolutely. So I mentioned during the presentation that we incentivize our subscribers to provide us data that comes in 2 forms, demographics and then product feedback. That incentive system works very similar to the way that a frequent flyer mile system works for an airlines, or your dividend works at REI. For every interaction you have with us, be it referring a friend or be it reviewing product inside your box, you earn points. Points accumulate and can be exchanged for free boxes over time. Specifically, the way that works is 2 weeks after you get your box. We don't want to hit you right away with the survey because we want you to experience and test the product inside. You get a link inside of your inbox. You have 4 weeks to go to that link and to fill out the survey. There's 2 questions tied to every box. We went into academics and we studied the process of surveys, and if you're going to ask just one question, what is the most effective question to ask? We ask that question. It ends up being, how likely are you to refer that product to a friend? It's tied to something called a Net Promoter Score. We then have an open box where our subscribers can give any comments they want. Once they complete that survey and they submit, we can credit them points, and we can attach all of their demographic information to that survey. So when we go back to the brands and we say this person gave you a 7 out of 10, and they said they didn't really like the flavor, they'd like to see it come in peach. That came from a 35-year-old male who lives in Southern California, has an income of $120,000 or more, and is an avid hiker 3 days a week. So.
Great. And I think maybe for the Russian market, you could offer boxes that come inside boxes and come inside boxes.
It's an interesting approach, yeah.
Like that. How many people would use this product for themselves, their family, or friends as a gift? Wow. All right. Make sure you give Rob your name and address before you go.
The hook is on the stage.
And what if there was a service where you could get an empty box in the mail and you could load it with all the things in your house that you didn't want and send it to someone else? Who would want to do that? All right. Thank you, Rob. That's well done. Thank you.
Well done. Good luck.
Gator. So I have to interrupt. So I met Rob like a year and a half ago, and he's from Texas. He's a button-down aerospace engineer, and it's good to see he's made that transition now to Bend hipster look. I mean, look at that guy. Congrats.
So now it's time for a break, 15 minutes. Please be back in your seats in 15 minutes. Thanks, panel, for helping so far, and we'll see you again in 15 minutes. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you back, but be in your seats in 15 minutes, please.